All right, so today we're diving deep into AI and how it's shaking up the world of pharmaceuticals.
Buckle
We've
up.
got this research article, Artificial Intelligence in Drug Discovery and Development.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, robots making pills. It's really about how AI is uh, changing every single step of the game.
Right.
From, discovering a new drug to actually getting it into your medicine cabinet.
Exactly.
So think of this as your crash course on how AI is impacting the pharmaceutical industry. We'll unpack how it works, why it matters, and even peek into what the future might hold.
Sounds good.
So first things first, let's get a quick AI 101.
Sure.
Can you break down what AI actually is and how is it even used in drug discovery?
Well, think of AI as kind of like a super-powered research assistant for scientists. It can analyze mountains of data, way more than any human could ever handle. And it can find those hidden gems, those patterns and insights that lead to breakthroughs.
Right.
And it's not just one thing. It's like a whole family of tools, such as artificial neural networks.
Yeah.
These are actually inspired by the human brain with these interconnected nodes that learn and adapt as they process information.
Okay, so it's learning and adapting. It's like a digital brain.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in action? Got any real-world examples?
Absolutely. Remember IBM Watson?
Yeah.
It made a big splash, analyzing medical images and patient data to detect breast cancer in like 60 seconds.
Wow.
That's the power of AI, right? Crunching these massive data sets to find answers that would take humans years to uncover.
60 seconds. That's seriously impressive. So we've got this powerful tool, but drug development is a long and complicated process.
Right.
Where does AI actually fit in, in that journey?
It's really impacting every stage from the very beginning. Let's start with drug discovery.
Okay.
Imagine you're searching for a new drug molecule, right? You're not picking from a few options. You're looking at this chemical space of over 10 to the power of 60 possibilities.
Wow.
It's a number so big, it's mind-boggling.
Okay, that sounds like searching for a needle in a cosmic haystack.
It is.
How could anyone, even an AI, make sense of that?
That's where deep learning comes in. It's a type of AI that uses, complex neural networks to handle these massive data sets and find meaningful insights.
Okay.
In fact, a few years ago, this Merck QSAR machine learning challenge, it showed that deep learning models could actually predict these key properties of drug molecules much more accurately than traditional methods, like absorption, toxicity, things like that. It was a real turning point.
So deep learning is like the heavy hitter in AI's toolbox, able to handle those massive data sets. What about that early stage of discovery, like before you even start testing in the lab? I'm thinking of virtual screening. How does that work?
Virtual screening is like creating a digital map of that vast chemical space we talked about. It allows scientists to scan, millions of molecules super quickly to find potential drug candidates without actually making and testing each one in a lab.
Oh, wow. That's efficient.
It is.
But how is this map even created? Where does it come from?
It relies on these huge publicly available databases of molecular information, like PubChem, Drug Bank. AI algorithms then analyze these massive data sets to find those promising leads. It's like a digital detective sifting through mountains of evidence in the blink of an eye.
So virtual screening is about narrowing down those suspects. But then what? Then it's time for the real-world testing, right?
Right.
Does AI play a role there too?
Absolutely. Drug screening, traditionally super time-consuming and expensive.
Yeah.
And, the sad truth is that like 90% of these drug candidates, they actually fail clinical trials.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking and a huge waste of resources.
So how is AI changing that?
By predicting a drug's characteristics very early on, like its solubility, permeability, even potential side effects. It helps researchers focus on those most promising candidates from the start.
So it's weeding out the bad apples early in the game.
Exactly. But it's even more nuanced than that.
Okay.
We're seeing AI being used to predict bioactivity, too.
Bioactivity. Now, there's a term I haven't heard before.
So it's basically how well a drug interacts with its target protein. Think of it like a key fitting into a lock.
Okay.
The better the fit, the more effective the drug. And AI algorithms can assess this fit in various ways,
right,
including deep learning, which is achieving some pretty impressive levels of accuracy.
That's pretty amazing. But here's a thought. Can AI actually design completely new drugs?
Yes.
From scratch? Or are we still stuck with, tweaking existing molecules.
You're talking about de novo drug design, and yeah, AI is already being used for that. It's
Right.
pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, I'm intrigued, I gotta admit. Tell me more.
So traditional de novo drug design is like trying to build a skyscraper with your bare hands.
Oh.
Manually putting together these molecular building blocks.
Yeah.
It's incredibly complex and time-consuming. AI, on the other hand, analyzes tons of data on existing drugs, their properties, and uses that knowledge to design completely new molecules with specific desired properties.
So instead of painstakingly building a drug, AI designs the blueprint.
Exactly. And there are already AI programs like Chematica, which is now called Cynthia. They've designed more efficient synthesis routes for these essential drugs. Another program, RANC, acts like an AI chemist. It generates these novel molecules with predefined properties.
Like fulfilling a custom order.
Exactly.
Wow, that's the future right there. What are the biggest advantages of using AI for this type of drug design?
Well, AI has several key advantages. It learns from new data constantly, so its designs are always getting better.
Right.
It can optimize multiple properties of a drug simultaneously, like its efficacy and safety.
Yeah.
And perhaps most importantly, it can suggest multiple synthesis routes, which really speeds up the entire process.
Okay, so we've seen AI in action at the very beginning, finding those promising molecules, designing them.
Right.
But what happens next? Once you've got that potential drug, does AI play a role in turning it into an actual product?
You're right. The story doesn't end there.
Okay.
There are many challenges in turning a molecule into a safe and effective drug that can actually be manufactured. And you guessed it, AI is becoming increasingly important in this stage too.
All right, I'm all ears. What kind of challenges are we talking about, and how is AI stepping up to the plate?
Well, think about all the decisions that go into developing a drug product. Like, what's the best dosage form?
Yeah.
A pill, a capsule, an injection. How will it be manufactured?
Right.
Will it be stable on the shelf? Will it dissolve properly in the body? These are just a few of the questions that pharmaceutical scientists grapple with.
It sounds incredibly complicated.
It is.
Yeah.
But AI can help predict those crucial properties early on, allowing for faster, more efficient development. For example, AI can help choose the right dosage form based on the drug molecule's properties. It can even predict things like stability, dissolution,
Wow.
even the flow properties of powders used in manufacturing.
So it's like having an AI consultant, like every step of the way.
Exactly. And it's not just theory. This is happening right now. There was a case where a hybrid AI system actually helped develop hard gelatin capsules for this drug piroxicam.
Okay.
This AI system fine-tuned the formulation to make sure that the drug releases at the right rate in the body, which is super important for effectiveness and safety.
That's amazing. And what about quality control?
Oh, yeah.
I imagine it's a huge issue in pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Absolutely. Maintaining that consistency from batch to batch it's critical.
Yeah.
AI is becoming really powerful for automating this process, minimizing those errors, and making sure that every single pill or injection meets the highest standards.
So it's like having an AI quality inspector on the production line.
Exactly.
Making sure everything's perfect.
Yeah, one cool example is this neurofuzzy logic system.
Okay.
It was used to predict the endpoint of granulation in large-scale manufacturing. Granulation is where powders are, combined to form those granules that are used to make tablets. This system accurately predicted when that process was complete, which is a key factor for maintaining the quality of the final drug product.
Wow. So even in those seemingly, minor but essential steps of the manufacturing process, AI is playing a role. It really is transforming the entire pipeline. But of course, before any drug can actually hit the market,
Right.
it's got to go through clinical trials.
Yeah.
Are those being impacted by AI as well?
You bet. Clinical trials are essential, but they're lengthy, they're expensive, and a shockingly low percentage of drug candidates actually make it through. Only 1 in 10 molecules entering clinical trials actually gets approved.
Wow, that's a sobering statistic.
Yeah.
So how is AI being used to improve those odds?
Well, it can help in several ways. For example, by analyzing vast amounts of patient data, AI algorithms can help select the most suitable candidates for a particular trial,
Oh, okay.
leading to more accurate results and increasing those chances of success. It's like matchmaking, but for clinical trials.
The right patient, the right trial, hopefully more successful outcomes.
Exactly.
What else is AI doing in this space?
Well, another big challenge is patient dropout, right?
Yeah,
Which can really compromise the trial's integrity,
right.
leads to delays and increased costs. We're
Right.
seeing AI-powered monitoring systems
Yeah.
being used to help patients stay on track with their protocols,
Right.
reminding them to take their medication, track their symptoms, like a virtual nurse.
That's pretty cool. Are there any examples of this being used successfully?
Absolutely. Acure, a company that developed this mobile app to monitor medication adherence in a schizophrenia trial, found that their app increased adherence rates by 25%. That's huge.
That's really impressive. Yeah. Okay, so we've covered how AI helps discover drugs, design them, develop them, and even test them.
Right.
But the journey doesn't end there, right? What happens when a drug is finally approved? Does AI play a role in getting that drug out into the market, making sure it's successful?
You're absolutely right. That's where pharmaceutical product management comes in. And yes, AI is making a splash there too.
All right, hit me with it. What kind of AI magic are we talking about here?
Well, think about market positioning, right?
Mhm.
It's about creating an identity for a drug, telling its story, connecting with consumers and healthcare providers. A classic example of successful market positioning is Viagra. It wasn't just marketed as a treatment for erectile dysfunction, but as a solution for improving men's overall quality of life. And it worked brilliantly.
That's a great example. So how does AI fit into this?
AI can analyze huge amounts of data on consumer behavior, market trends, competitor strategies, and help companies find that perfect market position for their drug. It can even help predict sales,
Wow.
analyze demand, and tailor marketing campaigns for maximum impact. It's like having an AI marketing guru whispering in your ear.
An AI marketing guru. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So AI is helping to craft the message, but what about the price tag?
Right.
Surely that's a big part of getting a drug to market.
You're right. Product costing is a complex process.
Yeah.
Lots of moving parts. Development costs, regulations, market share, competitor pricing. AI can analyze all that data and recommend the best price for a new drug. It's like having an AI accountant working behind the scenes.
So we've got AI helping with market positioning and pricing, but is it also changing how companies interact with customers directly?
Absolutely. We're seeing AI being used to personalize the customer experience.
Yeah.
From targeted advertising based on individual preferences to self-service technologies that let users easily find products,
Right.
track their orders, and even manage their healthcare needs. It's like a personal AI assistant for all things pharma.
That's amazing. So AI is really transforming this whole drug development process
It is.
from start to finish. But are there any other, maybe even more futuristic applications that you think are particularly exciting?
Oh, there are. One that really stands out is nanorobotics.
Nanorobotics. That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is.
Tell me everything.
Imagine these tiny programmable machines powered by AI,
Okay.
delivering drugs directly to specific cells in the body.
Seriously, like microscopic drug delivery drones.
Exactly. And these nanorobots are equipped with sensors, allowing them to navigate through the body, avoid collisions, identify their targets, and even control drug release based on specific conditions.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like having a guided missile for medication.
What are the potential benefits of this technology?
Oh, they're huge. We're talking drastically improved drug efficacy, minimized side effects.
Wow.
Imagine delivering chemotherapy directly to cancer cells,
Right.
sparing the healthy tissue, or delivering insulin right to those pancreatic cells in people with diabetes. The possibilities are really endless.
Okay, this is all incredibly exciting. Are there any other cutting-edge applications we should know about?
Another fascinating area is combination drug therapy. For complex diseases like cancer, tuberculosis,
Yeah.
using multiple drugs together can be much more effective than using just one drug alone.
Right.
The challenge is figuring out which combinations work best.
Makes sense. But how does AI fit into this?
AI can analyze vast amounts of data about drug interactions and predict which combinations will work best. It can even predict synergy, where drugs work better together than they do alone.
So AI is like a matchmaker for drugs.
Exactly. And we're even seeing specific AI models like the master regulator inference algorithm making a real difference in how we develop these combination therapies.
This is incredibly promising. But I'm curious about the big picture. What's the current state of the AI market in pharmaceuticals? Is this like just hype, or is this a real trend?
It's a very real trend, and it's gaining some serious momentum. The market has exploded in recent years, growing from just $200 million in 2015 to an expected $5 billion by 2024.
Wow, that's a huge jump. So it sounds like AI is here to stay. Are any of the major pharmaceutical companies getting involved?
Oh, absolutely. Big players like Bayer, Roche, Pfizer, they're all investing heavily in AI, and they're collaborating with these AI companies to develop innovative solutions. It's becoming a core part of their R&D
So
strategies.
it's not just a fringe movement, it's mainstream now.
It is.
But like any new technology, I'm sure implementing AI in this field comes with its own set of challenges, right?
It does.
What are some of those big hurdles that need to be overcome?
One of the biggest is access to high-quality data.
Okay.
AI algorithms are only as good as the data that they're trained on. Incomplete, biased, or just incorrect data will lead to flawed results. So getting access to these large, diverse, and well-annotated data sets is critical.
So it's not just about having data, it's about having the right data.
Exactly.
What else is holding back AI adoption in this industry?
Well, another challenge is the need for skilled personnel.
Got it.
People who understand both drug development and AI, right? There's a growing demand for data scientists, AI engineers, and specialists who can bridge that gap.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about having the right people to use it, to develop it.
Absolutely. And of course, there are always concerns about job displacement as AI takes on these tasks that are currently done by humans.
Right. That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
How can we address that?
It's important to remember that while AI can automate certain tasks, it's not going to completely replace human expertise. You know, developing, implementing, and overseeing these systems still requires human intelligence, creativity, and judgment.
Right.
In fact, I think as AI takes over those more routine tasks, it'll free up human researchers to focus on those more complex problems, the ones that need, real creativity and insight.
So it's not AI versus humans, it's AI and humans working together, each playing to their strengths.
Exactly. But there's another challenge we haven't talked about, the black box phenomenon.
Black box, that sounds intriguing. What's that all about?
So with many AI algorithms, especially deep learning models, it's hard to understand how they arrive at their conclusions. They can be great at making predictions,
Right.
but they don't always provide clear explanations for why.
So it's like having an AI oracle that just spits out answers.
Yeah,
But you have no idea how it came to those conclusions.
exactly. And this lack of transparency can be a barrier to trust and adoption,
Right.
especially in healthcare, where those decisions can have, life or death consequences.
Transparency is crucial, especially when we're talking about people's health. So how do we address this black box problem?
There's a growing field of research focused on developing something called explainable AI,
Okay.
which aims to create systems that provide clear and understandable explanations for their decisions.
That makes sense.
It's really important for building trust and ensuring that AI is used ethically.
It sounds like a promising avenue of research.
It is.
So even with all these challenges, it seems like there's a lot of optimism surrounding AI,
Definitely.
in pharmaceuticals at least. What are your final thoughts on this?
It's a very exciting time to be working in this field.
Yeah.
AI has the potential to truly revolutionize healthcare, making drugs safer, more effective, and potentially even more affordable.
Right.
It's not a cure-all, of course, and there are challenges, but the possibilities are really transformative.
It sounds like we're really on the brink of a new era,
Yeah.
one that's powered by data, algorithms, and this deeper understanding of both biology and technology.
Absolutely. And who knows what amazing breakthroughs await us in the next 10 years of pharmaceutical research.
Okay, so we've talked about some pretty futuristic stuff.
Yeah.
Virtual drug screening, AI marketing gurus.
Right.
But before we get too carried away, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, ADME. I know it stands for absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, and toxicity. But how is AI actually being used to predict these properties in drug development?
AI algorithms are proving incredibly valuable in this area, especially early on in that drug discovery process. Traditionally, assessing these properties involved a lot of lab experiments.
Right.
Time-consuming, expensive, but AI offers a shortcut, letting us make predictions, with much greater speed and accuracy.
So instead of waiting weeks or months for lab results, researchers can get insights into how a drug will behave in the body almost immediately.
Exactly. It's like a crystal ball that lets you see a drug's fate in the body before you even make it.
That's pretty game-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, break it down for me. Like, how is AI tackling each of those AD-MET properties?
Sure. Let's start with absorption. This is how well a drug gets into the bloodstream.
Okay.
If a drug can't be absorbed properly, it won't reach its target, it won't do its job.
Right. It's like a key that can't find its lock.
Exactly. And AI is helping us predict absorption by analyzing the drug molecule's chemical structure,
Okay.
taking into account things like size, shape, solubility. It's like an AI pharmacist, telling you how well a pill will dissolve in your stomach.
That's pretty cool. So what about distribution? Where does a drug go once it's in the bloodstream?
Yeah.
And how does AI help us understand that?
Different drugs have different tendencies to accumulate in certain tissues or organs,
Right.
which can affect both their effectiveness and, their potential side effects.
Right.
AI is helping us map this distribution process
Okay.
by analyzing things like the drug's chemical properties, interactions with proteins in the blood, characteristics of different tissues.
So we're not just sending a drug into the body and hoping for the best anymore.
Right.
We're using AI to kind of predict its journey and make sure it gets where it needs to go.
Yeah.
What about metabolism? How is AI helping us understand how a drug is broken down in the body?
So metabolism is the process of breaking down a drug, primarily in the liver, although other organs can play a role. It's really important for determining the right dose, how often a drug needs to be taken. AI can actually predict those metabolic pathways, by analyzing a drug's structure and its interactions with enzymes.
So AI is helping us design drugs that are metabolized in a way that, maximizes their effectiveness and minimizes the risk of unwanted side effects.
Exactly.
What about excretion? How does a drug actually leave the body, and how is AI involved in predicting that?
Excretion is the process of removing those drug metabolites from the body, mainly through the kidneys and the urine.
Okay.
Other routes, though, like feces, sweat, even breath can be involved.
Wow.
AI can actually predict how a drug will be excreted, aiding those researchers in designing drugs that are eliminated from the body safely and efficiently.
Okay. And last but not least, we have toxicity,
Right.
which seems particularly important because, well, any drug could have unintended harmful effects.
Yep.
How's AI helping us predict and hopefully mitigate toxicity?
You're right. Toxicity is a major concern. And AI is proving very valuable here. It's analyzing massive amounts of data, the chemical structures of drugs, their interactions with biological systems, known toxicities of similar compounds, all to predict those potential harmful effects. It's like having an AI safety inspector, constantly on the lookout for potential hazards.
That sounds incredibly reassuring. So by identifying those potential problems early on, we can avoid wasting resources on drugs that are likely to fail because of safety concerns and focus on the ones that'll be both effective and safe.
It seems like AI is changing the game in drug development from start to finish.
Yeah.
But what about beyond the drug itself? I'm thinking personalized medicine.
Right.
It's a term we hear a lot these days. Can you explain what it actually is and how AI is playing a role?
So personalized medicine is all about tailoring medical treatments to the individual patient. It's moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach.
Recognizing that we're all unique and our genetic makeup, our lifestyle, those environmental factors,
Right.
they all influence our health.
So instead of assuming that everyone's going to respond to a drug the same way, we're recognizing that individuals might need different approaches. But with so much variation, how do we even begin to personalize treatment?
That's where AI comes in. It excels at analyzing those massive data sets and identifying patterns that humans would never be able to spot. In personalized medicine, AI can analyze a patient's entire medical history, their genetic profile, lifestyle choices, even their environmental exposures, and then predict their risk of developing certain diseases. And it can recommend the most effective treatment strategies. It's like having a personalized AI health advisor.
That's pretty incredible. Any real-world examples of how this is actually being used?
Absolutely. One area where personalized medicine is already making a difference is cancer treatment.
Okay.
So AI is being used to predict which patients will respond best to certain types of chemotherapy, sparing those who are unlikely to benefit from the toxic side effects of those treatments.
That's incredibly powerful, tailoring treatments to maximize effectiveness and minimize harm. What other applications of AI in personalized medicine are you excited about?
Another exciting area is personalized drug dosages. AI can consider a patient's metabolism, their weight, other factors to make sure they're getting the optimal amount of medication, moving away from that one-dose-fits-all model We're also seeing AI really transform how we diagnose and monitor diseases.
Okay, tell me more about that. How's AI changing how we diagnose and monitor diseases?
So AI algorithms are being trained to analyze medical images.
Hmm.
Things like X-rays, CT scans, MRIs with incredible accuracy, often rivaling, human radiologists.
Wow.
They can also analyze blood tests, genetic data, even wearable sensor data to detect those early signs of disease and track a patient's response to treatment in real time.
So it's like having an AI detective constantly monitoring our health, looking for those clues,
Huh.
alerting us to potential problems early on.
Exactly. And the benefits are huge. Early detection often leads to better outcomes,
Right.
and personalized treatments, again, increasing effectiveness, reducing side effects. But we do need to be mindful of those potential downsides and those ethical concerns as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. What kind of ethical considerations should we be thinking about when it comes to AI in healthcare?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is data privacy. AI needs data, and we need to make sure that that sensitive patient information is handled securely and ethically.
So we need to be vigilant about protecting our health data, making sure it's not misused.
Absolutely. Another concern is bias. If the data used to train those AI algorithms is biased, the algorithms themselves will be biased,
Right.
potentially leading to unfair treatment of certain patient groups.
Right.
So we need to ensure fairness, equity in AI-driven healthcare.
That's a crucial point. How do we actually ensure that fairness and prevent bias in these systems?
It starts with being aware of the potential for bias and actively working to mitigate it. Carefully selecting, curating that data used to train the algorithms, ensuring representation from diverse populations,
Right.
constantly monitoring and correcting any biases that emerge.
So it's about building systems that are fair, transparent, and accountable. But who's ultimately responsible if an AI system makes a mistake? The doctor, the patient,
hmm
the company that developed the AI.
That's a really complex question. There's not an easy answer. Determining accountability in this age of AI is an ongoing discussion.
Right.
Involves stakeholders across healthcare, law, ethics. We need to establish clear guidelines, frameworks to address these challenges as AI becomes more integrated into healthcare.
It's a lot to consider, but it seems like those potential benefits outweigh those risks if we're careful, if we're thoughtful in how we develop and implement these technologies.
Absolutely.
Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the business side of things. What trends are you seeing in the AI market for pharmaceuticals?
It's a dynamic market. We're seeing a lot of investment in AI startups that are developing those innovative solutions for drug discovery, development, personalized medicine.
So the innovation isn't just happening within those big pharmaceutical companies.
No, not at all. These startups are often, more agile. They
Hmm.
can move faster than those larger companies, which can be bogged down by, bureaucracy.
That makes sense. Are there any specific startups or areas of research you're particularly excited about?
One area that's generating a lot of buzz is drug repurposing.
Drug repurposing. I'm not familiar with that.
So it's basically finding new uses for existing drugs. It's a much faster, cheaper way to develop new treatments than starting from scratch because the drug has already been through those safety and efficacy tests.
Right.
AI is playing a key role here,
Okay.
analyzing those massive databases to identify potential new applications for those existing medications.
It's like finding hidden treasures in your attic.
Yeah.
Any success stories of AI-powered drug repurposing?
Yeah, a classic example is sildenafil, originally developed for high blood pressure, but later repurposed for erectile dysfunction. That's Viagra. AI is helping us find even more of those hidden gems.
Wow, that's fascinating. Any other areas of AI development in pharmaceuticals you think are particularly promising?
Absolutely. Another one is the development of these AI-powered clinical trial platforms.
Oh yeah, we touched on that earlier with patient recruitment and monitoring. But how is AI transforming other aspects of clinical trials?
So AI can streamline and optimize pretty much every stage of the process,
Okay.
from data collection and analysis to reporting. It can help identify those most suitable patients, automate data collection, which reduces errors, and even analyze the data to generate those insights more quickly.
So it's like having an AI project manager overseeing the entire clinical trial.
Exactly.
Are there any companies doing this successfully?
Yeah, Metadata, for example, offers a suite of AI-powered solutions for clinical trial management.
Wow.
It's definitely a trend that's gaining traction in the industry.
That's impressive. We also talked about AI-powered diagnostics earlier. What's like the latest and greatest in that area?
So AI is being trained to analyze, a wide range of medical data, images, blood tests, genomic sequences, to diagnose diseases with incredible speed and accuracy.
So it's like having an AI doctor who can spot those diseases earlier than we ever could before.
You could say that early detection is key, and AI is helping us achieve that in ways we never thought possible. One really great example is IDXDR. It's an AI system that's approved by the FDA to detect diabetic retinopathy without a specialist. It's a game changer for patients in rural areas or underserved areas who might not have easy access to ophthalmologists.
That's incredible. So AI is literally democratizing access to healthcare. What do you think the biggest impact of AI in pharmaceuticals will be in, like, the next decade?
I really believe the biggest impact will be in personalized medicine. We're moving towards a future where healthcare is more precise, more effective, moving away from that trial and error and towards those treatments that are tailored to the individual.
It's really exciting to imagine a future where medicine is truly personalized.
It is.
But before we get too carried away with the possibilities, I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier. AI isn't a magic bullet.
Right.
It's a powerful tool, but it's up to us to use it wisely. What are your thoughts on the role of government and regulatory agencies in shaping the future of AI in pharmaceuticals?
It's a crucial question. As AI becomes, more embedded in healthcare, governments and regulatory agencies will need to develop clear guidelines and regulations to ensure that these technologies are used safely, effectively, and ethically.
So it's about finding that right balance, right,
Yeah.
between encouraging innovation and protecting patients.
Absolutely. We need regulations that foster the development of those beneficial AI applications while safeguarding against those potential risks.
That's a tricky balance to strike.
Yeah.
Are there any specific regulatory challenges you think are particularly important to address?
Well, one is data privacy.
Okay.
As we discussed, AI needs access to, tons of data, but we need strong regulations to protect patient privacy, prevent misuse of that information.
Right, that health data needs to be treated with care and respect.
Absolutely.
What other regulatory challenges do you see?
Another key challenge is ensuring that transparency, the explainability of AI systems.
That brings us back to that black box problem. How do we ensure that AI decisions in healthcare are transparent and accountable?
Well, one approach is to develop regulations that require companies to provide those clear explanations of how their AI systems work, how they reach those conclusions.
Okay.
It's about lifting the veil, showing how those decisions are made.
So making that decision-making process visible, understandable.
Exactly.
What else can we do to address this?
Another approach is to develop those standardized testing and validation procedures for AI systems.
Okay.
It's like a safety certification process.
Right.
Making sure that they're accurate, reliable, and safe before they're used to make decisions about people's lives.
It makes sense. It sounds like a lot of work still needs to be done in terms of developing those ethical guidelines and those regulatory frameworks for AI in healthcare.
It's an ongoing process,
Yeah.
but it's essential for ensuring that AI is used responsibly for the benefit of all.
Well, this conversation has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I've gained a much deeper understanding of both the potential and the challenges of AI in pharmaceuticals.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating field. It's always changing, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Before we wrap up, I'm curious about your personal journey into this world. What sparked your interest in AI in pharmaceuticals?
It's been a winding path, for sure. My background is actually in computer science, but I've always been fascinated by biology, medicine.
So you really bridged the gap between two, seemingly different worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just realized that AI had this huge potential to revolutionize healthcare, and I wanted to be part of that.
That's really inspiring. What advice would you give to someone who's, interested in a career in this field?
Well, first, develop a strong foundation in both AI and those life sciences.
Okay.
It's about being fluent in both the language of data and the language of biology.
So it's like being bilingual in those two fields.
Exactly.
What other advice would you give?
Be curious, be creative, be persistent. This is a field that's constantly evolving, and there are always new challenges, new frontiers to explore.
That's great advice. It sounds like a demanding but incredibly rewarding field to be a part of.
It is. And who knows what amazing discoveries are out there waiting for us.
That's a great note to end on. The future of AI in pharmaceuticals is bright, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds.
Me too. It's a journey full of possibilities. and I can't wait to see what we accomplish together.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI and pharmaceuticals. Thank you so much for taking us on this journey of discovery.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you enjoyed this exploration. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about how far we've come in such a short time.
It is.
We're really at the beginning of a whole new era in medicine.
Yeah.
It's really exciting to be a part of it.
It really does feel like we're living in a science fiction novel sometimes.
I know, right?
Especially when we're, talking about things like nanorobots and AI doctors.
Yeah, yeah.
But with all this focus on AI, it's easy to kind of forget about the human element.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the role of human expertise in this new AI-driven world of drug development?
It's such a critical question. AI it's revolutionary, but it's not a replacement for human intelligence, creativity, empathy.
Mhm.
In fact, I believe AI will actually enhance human capabilities, not replace them.
So it's not AI versus humans, it's AI and humans working together, like a true partnership.
Exactly. Think of AI as that powerful assistant, capable of handling those complex calculations, analyzing, huge amounts of data, identifying those patterns that would take us, years to discover.
Yep.
But it's still human experts who interpret those findings, make those critical decisions, and ultimately steer the ship.
So it's about using the strengths of both.
Yeah.
AI doing the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
and humans providing that insight, that direction.
Exactly. AI can kind of sift through those mountains of data,
Yeah.
freeing up those human researchers to, focus on the big picture, ask those right questions, and come up with those creative solutions that drive innovation.
It's a beautiful synergy, each playing to their strengths.
Yeah.
As AI continues to evolve, do you think we'll see even more collaboration between these powerful systems and human experts?
Absolutely. I think this partnership is only going to get stronger and more sophisticated. It's that collaboration that holds the key to truly revolutionizing healthcare.
Well, I don't know about you, but my mind is officially blown.
Mine too.
This has been an incredible journey through this world of AI in pharmaceuticals. I feel like I've, not only gained this deeper understanding of its potential, but also of the importance of responsible and ethical development.
I'm so glad to hear that. It's a topic I'm very passionate about, and I hope our conversation has sparked your curiosity to maybe, learn even more about this fascinating world.
It definitely has. I can't wait to see what the future holds for AI and pharmaceuticals. It feels like we're just scratching the surface.
I agree. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be doing a deep dive on how AI helped cure, a major disease. That's a future I'm definitely excited to be a part of.
That's a future we can all get behind. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of AI and pharmaceuticals. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.